Today's topic of discussion is turn-offs for women. So I see a lot of guys in society, they're doing all this stupidness when it comes to dealing with women. They're turning them off without even realizing it. So we're going to be discussing some key turn-offs for women and how you guys can stop doing that. So first point is feminine. Guys in society have been programmed with beta male tendencies. So the system is controlling pretty much all mainstream media. So you got, for example, social media, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok, you name it. It's all being controlled by the system. And the videos that are going viral are controlled by the system as well. So both men and women are consuming all of this content related to social media and related to outside worldly events as well, so like BBC News and all these other ones. So that information is being consumed by more than 90% of people in society. So that, as a result of that, you're going to get guys who are going to become emasculated because they've been programmed with all these tendencies. So I'll give you an example. One tendency is to talk a lot. So you see a lot of guys, right, when they're having interactions with girls, they're doing the most talking and they're trying to impress them. That in and of itself is a turn off for a woman, because it firstly shows insecure behavior. It shows that you're somebody who's not secure within himself. And then the second point is you're not leading her. So actions speak louder than words. So meaning that you as a man, right, you're supposed to be somebody who's prioritizing his purpose and his mission. That right there is a man who's going to be masculine. That's what raw masculinity is. Somebody who has principles and boundaries and is constantly working on his purpose. But if you're not doing that, you're stepping into the feminine. And then the feminine frame is to do more talking than actually doing the actions. So your actions and your words, they both need to match. Do you understand? So with feminine guys, their actions and their words are not matching. That in and of itself is a turn off for women, because she sees that, right, as a guy who's not dependable. He's not mature. This is what it is. That's why women love men who are mature. These guys have several life experiences that they've gone through. They've learned several lessons and they're not naive. But the opposite of that is a woman who's had less experiences, less interactions, and she hasn't been exposed to all the filth out there in the world. Do you understand? So it's a compliment. So that's why feminine girls are attracted to masculine men, and then masculine men are attracted to feminine women. But what's happened is right now, you've got guys who have become feminine, and then you've got girls in the relationship who are masculine. And they're constantly just going back and forth with each other. You know? So that's why you see a lot of households, right? A lot of these toxic relationships, they're always arguing with each other. They're always bickering. And they're always going back and forth with each other. Pretty much all the time, it's the guy's fault. Reason being is because that guy there is not withdrawing his communication from her. A woman can only argue with you if you allow her to. So let's say when it comes to check-in behavior, certain times, right, a girl, she may be on, let's say, her period, or whatever events have happened in her life. Women are emotional beings. She's going to have a flipping emotional roller coaster certain days, and then she's going back and forth with you. If you're not somebody with a high amount of EQ, you're going to be constantly going back and forth with her, because you're going to think that, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to try and fit to her emotional needs. But the guy, right, who has a high amount of EQ, he's not going to do that. Do you understand? That's a low EQ type of guy who's going to be constantly reacting to what she's doing. Does that make sense, guys? So developing your EQ and developing your internal, that right there is going to be able to get women to comply. But because of the emasculation in society, guys are not doing that. Guys have become feminized. So you got all these outfits as well. So let's say even the clothing outfit that guys are wearing. Guys are wearing flipping tight jeans, tight jeans, skinny jeans, and just revealing their flipping batty. So batty means their bum. You understand? You can see all of that. You think women are going to see that and be like, oh yeah, that's a real man's man. They're going to look at this guy here as a flipping joker. Do you understand? That guy there is feminine. Masculine men, they don't wear flipping tight, skinny jeans and try and flex with that. And even the tracksuit bottoms nowadays, they're tight as well. Well, I don't know what's happening with guys. Guys are just wearing this and then they're thinking they look cool. They look good. It don't look good. It looks like this guy here, right, is just flipping feminine. So next point is needy. Guys today are so needy and desperate to get into a relationship. They ain't got no standards. They ain't got no requirements. They ain't got no flipping checklist. They ain't got nothing. But what they want is they need that woman to be like, oh yeah, can I get into a relationship with you? So when you switch the dynamics there from her trying to get into a relationship with you and you're trying to get into a relationship with her now, that's messed everything up. Do you guys see the difference there? So in the previous generations, a woman would try to get into a relationship with a guy. But now you got guys trying to get into a relationship with a woman and trying to pursue her, trying to, chase after her. Now there's a healthy way to pursue a woman, so speak to her for marriage purposes and then get her contact details and then get her wali, so the guardian. So he acts as a chaperone. So he's going to be the third party, right? And then you're both there talking to each other in person. Do you understand? So with that, right, that shows that this guy here is a man of principles and character. But what guys are doing is guys are getting into these haram relationships with girls. They start meeting up with them, start doing all types of craziness, and then before you know it, he's just chasing after her now. As soon as she started to apply no contact to him and she's not really communicating with him and she's starting to show disrespect to him, then he starts to become needy and desperate. That's when he starts to chase after her, and that's when the validation starts to flip and pile up. You're like, damn, she's thinking to herself, right, I've really got this guy now. You understand? So that in and of itself is very, very unattractive. So this is happening with guys in relationships and guys who don't have relationships. So both sets here. Certain guys, right, certain guys are getting into a relationship, right? And then they're coming home and then they're constantly going back and forth with their partner, constantly arguing and this and that. And then the woman is just constantly disrespecting him. And now he doesn't have the ability to walk away from her. So a guy who doesn't have the ability to walk away from a woman, what does that show to a woman? It shows that she is in a relationship with him and then he needs her, rather than actually being a man of principles and character. So next point is reactive. Guys in society have become reactive to everything. So if you look at social media, right, you look at, for example, Instagram. Guys on there, they're commenting, saying XYZ. So like even with, let's say, my Instagram reels. So recently, I've gotten a lot of influx of beta males just inboxing me and commenting XYZ, sending fat paragraphs. They've become so reactive. It's flipping a joke. So do you think women respect a guy who's reactive? That puts her in a danger when it comes to a survival perspective, because this guy here is just getting triggered left, right and center. He's got no direction in life. He's got no flipping purpose. He's somebody who's just reacting to everything in life. How can a woman ever follow a guy like that? So this is what it is. You guys here, right, when you've developed your frame, you're not going to be reactive. you're going to be somebody who responds. So with my, for example, comments, right, I'll respond, I'll have a read of it, all of their comments, and I'll respond to them. You understand? Because I've got a bigger picture that I'm trying to achieve, and that's to push my content out there, and then do it by doing it through the correct means. So like providing value, so through this content, right, pushing this content out there. And then obviously certain times I'll go back and forth with them, and then they're getting more triggered, they're getting more upset. But no water, you know what they're saying is no water off the duck's back, isn't it? I can't remember saying something like that. You know, but that's what it is. It don't faze me one bit. I see these guys, right, as jokers, and women see these guys as jokers as well. I haven't had a single girl, right, in all my reels, right, all my recent reels, I ain't had a single girl agreeing with these beta males and saying, yeah, you're right, or XYZ. Girls are literally sat on the sidelines watching, and they're seeing all of this take place. They're seeing, oh guys, these are the type of guys they're having to choose from. These flipping beta males who are constantly arguing on social media. You know, so when women see that, it's like a flipping turn off, isn't it? You know, like myself, whenever I'm on social media, I don't even pretty much consume anyone's content. I literally post my content and then I'll respond to the beta males. Keep the algorithm engaged. This is the way to do it. This is how you get flipping. This is how you play the social media game. So this is what it is. Social media is one big game nowadays. That's what it is. You know, so when you play it and then you flip and break the rules, Instagram is going to love you. They're going to be like, damn, this guy here is going viral. A lot of people are watching his content. A lot of people are getting upset by his content now. Now, the content that I'm producing, it's not even offensive. You know, so when I said in a video about, oh, you shouldn't be getting a haircut every single week, guys are getting upset by that. So what does that tell you about today's society? A lot of guys are so reactive. They've been focusing on the external and they ain't worked on the internal. So when it comes to, let's say, EQ, so they've got a low amount of EQ. They haven't developed their emotional intelligence. You know, so if somebody's got a different opinion to them, this guy here, right, is getting all reactive and upset and angry and sending fat paragraphs. Now, I've got certain guys, right, who are literally following me. They're watching all my stories. And then every time I post a reel, within flipping 2 minutes, within a minute, they're putting a comment saying XYZ. Women don't respect that. And that's a flipping turn off for a woman. She sees that as, this guy here, right, is so desperate for attention. You know, attention and validation. You know, what guy goes out of his way to say XYZ about another guy's opinion? You know, like any type of videos I see on the internet, someone's got a different opinion, I don't care. You know, I'm focused on just producing my content and pushing it out there. But this is what it is. Guys are not doing that. Guys have got all the time in the world. So for myself, right, I work 60 hours for my standard job, and then it's about 5-10 hours for content creation. So all these videos and stuff like that. So I'll just do it in like one take. You know, my videos ain't edited or anything like that. That's why you're seeing right now me talking in person. So it's as though I'm talking to you guys in real life. But obviously, you guys are watching this on YouTube. You understand? There's no editing or anything like that. It's just straight information which is authentic and real. You understand? So women can't respect these guys who are reactive. You know, that's what social media has done to a lot of people. Their attention span is so flipping low, right? It's like 1-2 seconds. 1 to 2 seconds or something like that. It's just pathetic. So when I edit my content, I specifically choose parts to irritate these guys. Because that's what I've seen. That's what gets engagement. When I'm talking straight facts and I'm telling it how it is, people ain't watching that. But when I trigger these beta males get upset and they start to become reactive. And then they start sending me fat paragraphs. Instagram and social media loves that. Yeah, social media loves that. They want these beta males to consume it for as much as possible. Because when you're consuming social media and you're becoming reactive all the time, you're their number one customer. Do you understand? Because that strips you of your time, which is your most important commodity. So with social media in general, you guys want to limit your consumption as much as possible. You want to be either a type of guy who's producing, so you're producing content, or you're somebody who consumes only positive, beneficial information. Don't be that type of guys to be like, oh yeah, let me try and be a flipping consuming all of this filth. This was happening in society, unfortunately. So that leads us to the final point when it comes to follower. Guys in society are followers. So more than 90% of them, they're following main social media trends and what other people are saying. They ain't got no individualistic thought process. They ain't got no individual character. They ain't got their own viewpoint and opinion. They're like flipping sheep, mate, herd. They're all walking off the cliff, running off the cliff, one by one. That's what's happening in relationships. Women can't respect that. That's a turn off for a woman when she sees that this guy here, right, is just like all these other guys. That's why in relationships now, around 10% are gravitating, 10% of women are gravitating towards, let me rephrase that. Around 90% of women are gravitating towards 10% of men in society. And it's getting less and less where it's going to get to the point, right, where 99% of women are chasing after the 1% of guys. And it's not money, status and fame and all that sort of BS. Yeah, those parts there play as attraction triggers, but women don't fall in love with that. Women fall in love with how you make them feel. So the key word is feel. Do you understand? So with the followers, right, guys are not able to make a girl feel a certain way. Do you understand? So a woman has a whole spectrum of emotions. It's like happy, sad, depressed, flipping, anxious, all these different emotions. Now a woman, when she's in a relationship with you, all those emotions are getting triggered in her. So that right there is love language to a woman, because she's feeling all these different emotions. But with the beta male orbiters, she's only feeling one emotion, and that is disgust. Disgust, turn off. That's all she feels for them kind of guys. So just to wrap up, feminine. Guys in society have become feminine. They're not around masculine men. They haven't built their masculine frame. And this is the reality of it. Guys in today's society are not surrounding themselves with real men. They're following all of these stupid influencers, social media guys. So one of the main guys was, for example, Andrew Tate. He flipping sold his soul, sell out to the system. These guys here have been brainwashed into thinking, oh yeah, if I get money, status, fame, X, Y, Z, then that's what's going to get women. Yeah, women see these guys as beta male providers, mate. Guys are just guys to take resources from, extract as much as they can from them. Women don't love these guys. Yeah, so these guys here are going around saying, oh yeah, look at this woman, I've got this and that. She don't love that guy, because as I said, from the stats back this up. Around 40-50% of all marriages in UK are ending in divorce, and around 80% of the women are initiating it. 70 to 80%. So what does that tell you? Yeah, these girls here are marrying these beta males who are feminine. Yeah, they got programming from society. They're not real men. You understand? So real men, right, they're either working on their purpose day in, day out, and then whatever time they have, like 5-10%, then they spend that, with, family, their partner, friends, or whoever. But majority of the time, they're always working on their purpose. Do you understand? That right there builds character, because you're going through highs and lows. Do you understand? You're going through flipping the low points, and then you're going through the high points. Meaning, there's going to be certain time periods where things are not going according to plan. You're trying your best, and then some situation happens. Let's say, for example, a health problem. People will all experience this. You'll go through health problems, and that shuts down pretty much everything that you're trying to work on. You're still going to be trying to work on your purpose, but it's going to be limited. You understand? But then during those time periods, that's where your character is developing and it's building up. You know, you're somebody who's actually going through trials and tribulations. So next point after that was needy. Guys feel the need to get into a relationship, and these are the type of guys who are not ready for a relationship. You should be that type of guy, right, where you've built yourself up in several areas of life where you don't need a woman. You understand? It's good to have a woman in your life, and you'd say you would want a woman, but there's no need for her. You understand? Because you guys here are working on your purpose. You're working on your mission. That right there is what you guys need as a man. You don't need a woman to come into your life and be like, oh yeah, X, Y, Z. Does that make sense, guys? And the next point after that was reactive. This was happened with guys in today's time frame. Guys have become so reactive to what other people think of them and other people's opinions. How can women respect that behavior? Because women are emotional beings by their nature. They are reactive. You understand? They need a man who's solid and steady. A guy who's firm in his core values and beliefs. Who answers to God. That right there is what's attractive. That right there is a turn on for women. Yeah? But these guys here are reactive. These guys here are chatting all this BS on the internet and just consuming all this filth. That's all a turn off for a woman. Women can't respect any of that reactive type behavior. Yeah, you guys here need to respond to certain situations. So let's say even with the internet stuff, as I said, with the algorithm, to keep it engaged, certain times I'm responding to these beta males. I'm replying back to them. They're saying X, Y, Z about me. And then I'll just respond to them. And then they start sending more paragraphs and more engagement. And then my watch time's increasing even more. And then my flipping views are increasing. And all these different things here. Do you understand? But I try and keep it respectful in all my videos. I try and keep it where I'm not talking rubbish in my videos. Do you understand? I'm literally straight and direct with it. And I'm telling guys the reality of it. And this information here, right? I've been speaking to certain guys. I've been showing my videos to them. It's going to be a bit too raw for a lot of them, for a lot of people. But this is how it's going to be. You know, this information here, right, isn't going to be pushed on the mainstream. The mainstream doesn't want you guys to know this information. The mainstream want you guys to be like beta males, to chase after a woman, to constantly get her all these gifts and shower her with money, you know, status, fame, whatever BS, and to try and lead with that. That right there doesn't get a woman's heart. And then the final point was follower. That's what's happening in society. A lot of guys now are literally followers. They consume everything what they see on the internet, and then all these, let's say, rappers, influencers, and so on. They're literally getting all of their thoughts. So whatever a rapper, for example, is saying on the internet, these youngsters are just copying. So there's certain guys, right, they'll comment on my, let's say, TikTok videos, and they'll be like, oh yeah, put the fries in the bag. Some comment like that. So I think that's referring to, like, I don't know, I think McDonald's employees or something like that. But guys are using that on social media. They don't even have their own individual violations. And if you're going to, for example, let's say, I remember back in school days, if you're going to cuss someone, so if you're going to violate someone, say something to them. You'd say something unique and something that you've created yourself with your own individual thought process. But guys are not even doing that now. They're just literally just copying whatever they're seeing on the internet. How can women respect that? This is what it is. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.